Factions, or otherwise known as the Enclaves, is Soulframe's take on vendors with exclusive weapons, armor, and packs which can be bought using standing, which is the currency used specifically in these factions. So these factions are inhabitants of the world of Alka, and as of now there are only 3 of them: Alka's Children, Kith of Kings, and Silent Rose. Each have their own unique philosophies, culture, and methods. But before we continue, if you find this info at all insightful, hit that like and subscribe button to stay updated on everything Soulframe. We go over patch notes, updates, guides, and pretty much everything else. So with that out the way, let's dive in. So there are 3 factions in the game, with the first one being Alka's Children. If you start the game by choosing the Oskelda as your starting pact, you will already have the key item that you will need to join this faction. However, if you choose another pact, you will need to craft this totem, which can be found in common chests in the world. So if you choose the Tethran Pact at the start of the game, you will be in the Kith of Kings faction, and if you choose Siren, you will be in the Silent Rose faction. So we're getting a bit off point here, but to get into the Alka's Children faction, if you are already in another faction, you will need to find the totem around the world in chests, and then go to your faction and purchase this, which is the material used to craft that totem. Then once the totem for that certain faction is crafted, you can simply change to that faction without equipping the totem. So to access faction quests in Soulframe, you first need to pledge to that specific faction, and once you're aligned, you can look for the unique quest icons on your world map. So if you're with Alka's Children, it'll show this symbol on the map, and for the Kith of Kings, this one appears, and if you've joined the Silent Rose, you can keep an eye out for this icon. These quests are currently the main and only way to earn standing, which is the essential reputation currency used to rank up your faction and purchase exclusive items from the favor shops. Upgrading is straightforward. You will need to accumulate enough standing to meet the requirement threshold. Then hit the upgrade button below it to instantly advance to the next rank. Each rank up expands your favor shop's inventory with better rewards, essentially meaning it's leveling up your personal faction store. So there are 3 tiers of quest, which is shown with a star. So 1 star means only 1 objective during the quest, 2 stars means 2 objectives, and 3 stars mean 3 objectives. This also means the higher the star or more objectives in a quest, the more experience or standing points you will get. But also, in order to get even more standing, you will need to move to higher level zones. For example, doing quests in the starting zone will earn you roughly 500 standing, but doing them in the far northern areas can earn you up to 1,700 standing. So, as of Preludes 12, there is a cap limit on how much standing you can earn a day. Currently, it's about 15,000 standing. So I'm guessing the developers are doing this so that people can come back and have a reason to play every day instead of just capping everything out, like buying all the shop's offerings in a short period of time. So we went over the majority and the basics of everything, so let's get into the faction and talk about some lore and what these factions offer. So Alka's Children are a nature-focused faction and are the indigenous people of the world Alka, specifically the Isle of Midrath. This race practice ancient nature-based magic to fight the technologically advanced corrupting Ode invaders, who they believe will pass in time. However, they seek to heal the natural world by the virtue of spirit, warding away the pollution left in the Sinecure's wake. They also dwell in the safe haven called Alka's Children's Enclave, which is hidden deep within a cave called Hilly Den, and keep to themselves so they can practice their rites freely and without fear. So this faction gives 2 sets of armor pieces. First, the Siren's armor set, which is Siren's Plainhide and Siren's Shroud, and also the Tethran's armor set, which is Tethran's Roots, and Tethran's Tunic, and Tethran's Cap. It also offers 3 weapon types, which is the Thistle, Wolder, and the Witan. Next is the Kith of Kings Enclave. So before we continue, if you go to the back of this room and bow on this plate, it will reveal a hidden room containing a chest, but it can only be looted once. So this faction is the Courage faction, which is melee combat, and you can also start off with this faction if you choose the Courage Pact at the start of the game, but if you don't, you will need the Medallion of Mora. So this guy in the middle is the Fire King called Fen Jotar, who was once the King of Midrath, and it's also said that he might have possessed a pact as well. So this enclave drops 6 armor pieces and 4 weapons. The armor pieces are Oskelda's Featherbinds, Siren's Stalks, Oskelda's Blues, Siren's Plainhide, Oskelda's Diadem, and Siren's Shroud. The weapons are the Precles, Thistle, Gwylan, and the Ignamora. Then finally we have the last faction called the Silent Rose, which is here on the map. So this faction is of humans and pretty much are the Resistance faction who did not succumb to the Ode. This faction is also led by a Dendrit Night Maiden named Lady Diora. And you guys might also know her from the fable called The Torment Stag. She is the leader and was able to resist the Ode because of her beast, Garen Rude. So to join this faction, you will need to have the Rose Bodkin crafted, which will allow you to interact with this NPC to join their enclave. So this faction drops 6 armor pieces and 4 weapons. The Tethran's Roots, Oselda's Featherbinds, Tethran's Tunic, Oselda's Blues, Tethran's Cap, and Oselda's Diadem. And the weapons is the Verdigris, Wolder, Gwillin, and the Rook. So this is as of Preludes 12, and if I update this video in any way, I will add it to the description. Because after all, the game is still in a pre-alpha state, and means things will almost definitely change by the time of full release. So if you guys found this at all insightful, hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.